So as I was getting my notebook and paper, I grabbed some bubbles. Anybody that knows me and know if I have bubbles, I love playing with bubbles. I just sit there on the couch and just blow bubbles. So as I was blowing these bubbles, I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm just doing it before I got to studying. And I don't know if you as a child or as an adult ever took the bubbles and blew them, and you blew them once, and then you would try to catch a bubble on that stick. And then after the bubble fades away, you would take the bubble, the residue of that bubble, and then you would blow it again. To me, I was like, well, God, I didn't know why I was grabbing these bubbles, but that's like maximizing the product that was in the tube. Because if you take the product that's in the tube and just keep blowing and blowing and blowing, then you're just going to use what was in that tube. But if you take the bubbles and blow it and catch the residue from a bubble and blow more, that means you're actually maximizing what that product was set up to do.
Yeah.
So I said, God, that's a very sobering thought. I like that. So that brings me to the widow with the 2 mites. She knew that they called for everyone to bring in their monies, and she knew that that's all she had was the 2 mites. And everybody else, we look at them as if they had a lot. So they brought an abundance. They brought more than what this lady had. But when you give to God all that you have, that's actually more than anybody else that had just enough, because they had an abundance of it. So they give an abundance of it. You're like, wow, they gave $1 million, but yet this lady just gave $2, and that's all she had. So in actuality, in God's eyesight, even though $1 million to us seemingly seems a lot, like wow, I can do a lot with $2, but it was the faithfulness of her giving all that she had. So we can't just look at a little bit, and the guy looking at the 1,000 like, this is all I have, this is all the master gave me, so I'm gonna take it and hide. I'm not gonna give it at all. I'm just going to give it back. Well, this is what I have. This is what you gave me. No, we have to take that and maximize it, because we never know what favor or what benefits we can get as a result. And then we also look at the lady that was gathering the firewood. All she had was a little meal for her and her son, a little bit of oil, so they must eat and die. But then the prophet came to her and said, go give me something to drink. And while you're getting me something to drink, make me a little cake. And she said, surely as the Lord liveth, all I have is a little bit of meal for me and my son, that we may eat and we may die. But because she heard the voice of the Lord, and she trusted in what the man of God told her, that if she would take care of him first, then God will meet your need. And that barrel of oil and that crude oil and that flour will not run out. So you will have enough until God brings back water on the land. She didn't see what Elijah went through, and when he was, I believe, in Samaria, when the drought was coming, and God had to take him from point to point to point, and then told him to go to the land, and then the ravens would bring him food and drink from the brook. When the brook dried up, he didn't know that there was going to be a lady until God told him that will be gathering sticks that will meet him at his next point of need. He needed something to sustain him while the drought was going on. This lady needed something to sustain her and her son.
Bless
so
God.
both of them both came at the point of favor, that God met his need to sustain him.
Yes.
And then God sustained her need. It's like both of them came at the point of need. So if he wouldn't have listened to God and said, well, God, I'm going to just stay right here. I'm going to make a left rather than making a right. Then he would have never fulfilled what God told him to do. And then the lady would have never got the need that she needed from God to sustain her and her son. So sometimes we have to listen to the voice of God and know that not only is favor on us, sometimes favor can rain down on us. Somebody can be beside us, and we can speak a word to them, and that favor that we have over our lives can go over them. Just like I said about the child and the toy. If it sits on the shelf, it's not going to do any good. But if you take it down from the shelf and you show it to people and show them how it works, that's helping them. Like I can use for another example. My husband loves persimmons. And every time you turn around, it can be in the dead of summer. He said, I want a persimmon. I was like, baby, it's not persimmon time yet. You got to wait until the fall. So the other day, I was taking one of the persimmons to the lady at work, but she wasn't there because it was Thanksgiving holiday. And I was like, well, I'm going to just take this to my auntie and uncle because we're going to see them the next day. Or later on that evening, we was going to see them. But I said, you know what, I'm going to share it with people. And they always get on me because they know I can't eat everything that I used to eat now. So it's like, Paulette, you always want us to eat something and try something in there. I said, well, I want y'all to try this. I said, because I know none of y'all probably have tried it. Y'all probably heard of it, but y'all haven't tried it. And I think it was 9 or 10 people try what a persimmon tastes like. It was like, you know what, Paulette, if you never would have given this to us, if you would have just told us about it, we never would have thought like, ooh, we actually like that. We want to go out and get some too. We want to do this and that. If I would have just kept it to myself and not told them about it, just say, have y'all ever heard of a fruit? How many of them would have actually went out and tried it?
True.
They would have just said, oh, well, it's just a fruit. I'm not going to try it. But them knowing about it, and then I sent them the health benefits of it and what it cures and what it can help. They were like, wow, Paulette, you have actually given us something else that we can add to our food diagram that we can take this and do. So that coming back to my remembrance now. We have to learn to get out and to do and show people, maximizing not just favor financially. Sometimes when we think favor, we think financial, but it's not just financial, it's things. Amen. It's the wisdom of God, the greatness of God, the things that we can take and show into others. That is maximizing favor. Favor isn't just for us, but it's to help others and get them to help them to their point of need. Amen. And also, in my closing, I just want to leave with this thought. Oftentimes, maximizing our favor isn't just to benefit us, as I stated, but those that come in contact with us. They may also come to know and produce and maximize the results God has predestined for us and them. We are not in this world just to sit around and do nothing.
Say so.
But we are here to maximize what God has given to his people. Will you maximize your favor? Amen.
All right. Bless God.